Hey, sorry I couldn't get to your call. I was chatting with a friend when you called. But I'm here now, so please give me a call when you get this message at any time. Doesn't matter what time. I love you. This message manifests on the video interpreter 5209.
The following episode is rated D for dumb. Let's do it.
9 o'clock, I'm bored to death. Smoke so much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the brooding kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah, I'm gone for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello, that is me. I am Dave. It is the 23rd of May, 11:37 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I'm ready to dumb it down. You? Yeah, you're excited too. That's fantastic. I really squeezed in all that information real quick. I usually spread it out over like 27 minutes, but today I decided to compress, whatever, all that information. But now that I don't feel very good about myself, I'm going to do it again. Yeah, so good morning, everybody. If you're listening, first thing in a morning day, in a morning moment of your life, obviously it's 24/7 on demand, Dumbing It Down with Dave on Spreaker, on Stitcher, on Good Pods, on, iHeartRadio, Spotify, forget it, goes on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Google Podcasts, whatever, goes on and on and on. So wherever, and also on the website, I keep on forgetting, dumbingitdownwithdave.com. Go to dumbingitdownwithdave.com. You can actually download episodes from the website. You can do that. I don't know what it looks like. I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it myself. So maybe, I think what it does is you download it off the website and then it plays on whatever player you have. Well, whether it's Microsoft Media Player or whatever. So if you want to, feel good about doing that. I don't care. Just try to leave a comment somewhere, and respond, engage with us here. If you are not on Spreaker, go to the Facebook page, Dumbing It Down with Dave, the Facebook group, the fan page, I guess they call it. So there's a like page, I think they call it, and there's a group page. Go to the group page. How do you know it's the group page? You know what? I should probably go home and do something to signify that it's two different pages. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure out something, or I won't, but I should. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. That was Alex Exum at the top of the show. Does the intro, ALEXEXUM. If you didn't even pay attention, go, wait a minute, is that a voice? Who's that? That's Alex Exum. And he has a whole side business that he does voiceover work and all that other stuff. So give him a call, and he'll do your intro and do it as well as he does mine. He'll do yours as well. ALEXEXUM.com. All right, and of course that great song, Going for a Ride, Going for a Drive, going out in my car, doing this and that, from Hal and Philly. Enjoy the Halpocalypse with Hal and Philly and Tales of the Road Warriors. Both are podcasts you can find on Spreaker and a whole bunch of other places. And, of course, it comes with the additional cowbell. Yeah. I'm going to try to do that for a while. You guys are loving the cowbell? I'm loving the cowbell. I like cowbell. I like a lot of cowbell. Not too much cowbell, just enough cowbell. Some of you have said it's too much cowbell. But you know what? We had no cowbell for the longest time. So now we have cowbell. I hear sirens. And somewhere I'm going to have to move over or do something funky because I hear sirens. You can't hear it, but I hear it. So I got to pay attention here. Somewhere, I think I'm driving on top of them. I got a feeling I'm on a bridge and they're underneath me. Anyway, you can't see it, but I heard it. So I think I see blue lights in my distance. So it looks like I'm going to have to pull over. Probably should do it for safety anyway. So I'll pull over, see what happens. And you'll probably hear them drive by. I'll open up the window so you know I'm not making this up. Of course, now they probably shut off the sirens. Because now I don't hear or see nothing. Well, that was the end of that. I guess I am a big fat liar. I'm just imagining it, just pretending. So, talk about imagining and pretending. Hey, how about this? Let's start off with this. All right? And this is about as exact of the quote as I can get it. If you can't tell whether... all right, I'm going to play a game. Let's play a game. I'm going to give you a quote, and you guess who said it. All right? All right? You ready? Okay, here's the quote. If you can't tell who to vote for, Trump or me, then you're not black. All right? Ready? I'll give you a couple seconds. Do 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 do. There's another verse to that. It goes a lot like the first verse, or I think it's in a different key and way less cowbell. But I have the cowbell here, so I might as well play it. There's also a kazoo in here somewhere. I haven't been utilizing the kazoo, which really does not look good on me with all the other kazooers in the world who look up to me for kazoo madness. But, all right, did you guess? I'll repeat the quote. If you want to, you can put it in the Spreaker box. I'm not going to have any contest like the first one in the Spreaker box. And don't say, hey, I saw somebody else comment, so I didn't comment. Just go ahead. Or put it on the Facebook page. I guessed the comment. Whatever. All right. Who said... What? Okay, I'll make it even easier for you. What former vice president of the United States of America, who's currently running for president for the second or third time, and most likely will lose again, said this? See, that helps a little bit, right? That narrows it down. If you can't tell who to vote for, Trump or me, then you're not black. Did you get it? If you don't know, let's start with the alphabet. A, no. B, bing, Biden. That's right. Vice president, former vice president, continuously and forever, most likely, forever and ever, former vice president, and disgraced candidate for the United States presidency for the third consecutive, or whatever, I don't know, not consecutive, but whatever, second or third time in his career, Joe Biden. Yeah, he made that comment on, B95 or whatever, the Breakfast Club in New York City. He was on a radio show, and that's how he ended. He was doing, I guess, fine. Nobody could care less what he has to say, and everything was going good. And at the end, he just had this moment where he goes, I got to finish big, like a stand-up comedian. I got to finish with my good stuff. I got to close this out with a big punchline. I got to leave him like laughing. I got to leave him like, yeah, that was great. That was the greatest ever. So he yelled out. He was in a rush. He had to get out off the clock, off the camera, because I guess his wife was coming up, at the top of the hour. So he had to get off the camera. And he goes, he just blurts it out. He goes, let me tell you something. If you can't tell whether to vote for Trump or me, then you're not black. Where is the uproar, right? Where is the mainstream media uproar? Okay. First of all, before you guys all flip out on me, not all of you, but some of you, you know that in 225 episodes, I've never really taken a political stance. Not really, because I don't really care. I don't have an agenda. This show doesn't have an agenda. Except for pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. I could really care less what anybody says, because we all say stupid stuff. I have said a whole double-sided live album of stupid stuff that if I could play it for you, I would. Oh yeah, I do have it. It's called 225 previous episodes of stupid stuff Dave has said. I don't usually make racial comments, but I could if I wanted to. I'm not running for VP or president or anything like that. So I'm just running for, my 33rd viewer, my 34th listener. I'm just out here. They can't shut me down. I don't think they can, because I don't work for anybody. Can 30 platforms all get together and delete me from the podcast world? I guess they could. I don't even know. I don't even care. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I would care. I think I would go back to bowling. I would do something. I probably focus all my energy in go-karting, or I don't know. I'm a couple of crunches away. When they open up the clubs, I could, become a male stripper. But, I'd be fantastic. I'm just a couple of sit-ups, a couple of pounds away. And I, get myself a nice Speedo. Or, just dig out the old one, from my stripper chest I have up in the attic from the days that I would tour the country. You don't know whether that's true or not. None of you know. It could be true. Why not? Would you be surprised? Oh, look at that. Dave was, in fact, a male stripper. You don't know. But I got moves. Now my moves have moves. That's what's bad when you get to be obese. Your moves have moves. And they're not all voluntary. Sometimes they're sort of twitchy. Or sometimes they're sort of jello-y. Like, it's not really sharp. Good stuff. But anyway, I don't have an agenda. But it would be nice to see some fairness where, like, CNN and, all those other stations just say, hey, this ain't good. And just be honest. Just say, this ain't good for us. Don't even say this isn't good for the country. This ain't good for us. Okay, now that that's said and done, I will give credit to the host. I don't know his name. It starts with a C. I'm going to say something like Charlemagne. I don't even know. But I know it starts with a C. Charlemagne, whatever. I don't know. But I don't listen to B95 or The Breakfast Club or 103.5 or whatever it is. I think it's a New York thing, but that was on Zoom, I guess. I don't even know. He said he cut off Biden. When he finished that sentence, well, I guess he didn't cut him off. But he said, no, it don't matter about Trump. It matters about my community. I care about my community. So what I think he was saying is that he's not anti-Trump. He's not necessarily pro-Biden. He's pro his community. Hey, well, that makes sense to me. I like that. Be open-minded. Maybe the other guy has something to offer you. Somebody who doesn't look at you and go, oh, black, so you should be voting for me because I'm a Democrat. You should be voting, or white guys vote for Republicans, black guys vote for Democrats, and, that's the way it goes. Those are the rules. So, that's, this guy was not hip to that. He was saying, no, I don't care about Trump. What I care about is my community. So, he got that last word in, and then apparently Biden comes out and then, sends out the apology. I was cavalier. I shouldn't have said that. And you start to think, first of all, he's apologizing how many times already during this campaign? All right? I'm all about apologizing. Sure. I mean, why not? I'll apologize. I think in the 3 years that President Trump has been president, I don't think he's apologized once. And so let me say this. I kind of like that. Don't be apologizing. Own it. Own it. And not just, I'm not saying I'm happy about what President Trump has said, so I support him. I'm saying I know that he said it. He knows that he said it. The mainstream media knows he said it. Everybody knows he said it. And he's not backing down from it. So I like that in him. I will, listen, we can only take it so far. At some point, hey, I was the same way with Don Rickles, one of my favorite stand-up comedians. It was like, yeah, funny, okay, black joke, Asian joke, whatever, on and on. But, in the last couple of years, but only because I heard it like 5 or 10 times already. I was looking for new racist material. The old racist material was fine when it was new, but then the old racist material got really old. So yeah, I'm saying racist because listen, let's be honest. If he had Don Rickles had started his career probably in the last 10 years or so, maybe 15 years ago, but probably in the last 10 years or so, no, they wouldn't have flown. Lisa Lampanelli, who's kind of has been referred to as the female Don Rickles, I don't think she has much of a stand-up career now either. And if she does, I don't know if she's doing that hate stuff. And she wouldn't call it hate stuff, and Don Rickles wouldn't call it hate stuff, but it's not exactly love stuff. I don't know. Back in the day, hey, what's up, my brother? All right, we get it. You're white, he's black, and you're an old white guy, and he's a young, he's a basketball player, or he's a sports athlete, or it's just some guy in the audience, and you're just talking about him. I get all that. We all got it back in the day. But now in the day, I don't know if people get it as much. I don't know if it's as acceptable. It's a little uncomfortable. But if you do it right, of course, if you do it right and it's funny, it's fantastic. Did Biden do it right? No, I think Biden did it wrong. Do I really care? Am I really that angry about it? No, I don't really care what he says. It makes me, though, it does make me think, you know what? In a weird way, I do want him to win. I do want him to win in a weird way. Not in a good way. Not in a right way, because I really don't want him to win. But if he does win, it's going to be hilarious. And I just can't wait for the debates. I hope there's debates. God, I hope there's debates. I don't even know if Trump will win. I don't even know if Trump will do well. I just want to hear Biden say things. Just be crazy and say things. So I get a kick out of his craziness. I think a lot of America does, because he says crazy things. So if you can't tell whether to vote for Trump or me, then you're not black. Wow. Okay. So there's a lot more stuff I could say about that. I could do my own lines, you know. If you're not licking sauce off your fingers right now, you know, so you can pick up your EBT check, and you vote for Trump, you're not black. See, you could just do, somebody can go up, like, do a whole Jeff Foxworthy thing. You know, go up there and be Jeff Blacksworthy. And just do all these lines, you know. All these lines, you know, if you vote for Trump, then you ain't black. That's how it all ends. Anyway, I don't have an agenda. I really don't care one way or the other. I just thought that was a funny Biden gaffe, or whatever you want to call it, whether it was a gaffe or whether it was... He intended to say it. He said it. And then that whole apologizing thing. Oh, so let me get back to that. So, okay, so in 3 years or almost 4 years, Trump hasn't apologized once. And what I like about that is there was a time where, in this country, in the United States of America, where every time somebody would say something, like a Don Imus or, God, there's so many names, immediately they would be apologizing. Like the next day, whatever, the next news cycle, whatever it is. And it was so many different people. Everybody apologizing. And not always was it for off the cuff remarks. A lot of times it was for prepared remarks or whatever. And of course, if they didn't apologize, here comes Al Sharpton with his boycott. And then, they would be apologizing because of the boycott. And nobody, I'm telling you folks, as God is my witness, and I don't even know if that means anything when I say it, but I feel like in my entire lifetime, I've never heard anybody own up to their comments and say, you know what, Al Sharpton, you know what, Jesse Jackson, you know what, whoever, whatever, you know, whatever group it is, doesn't always have to be a black group, it could be any group. But it always, most often does seem to be Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson. Although I did see an Asian protest once. They did protest some movie where they didn't like the portrayal. I think it was Eddie Murphy or somebody, you know, did a Chinese character, you know, with the buck teeth and the big glasses, and they didn't appreciate that. And they said it was a negative stereotype. It was some young congressman in New York City and whatever. Who, by the way, turns out he had buck teeth and big glasses. No, that's not true. Although that would have been really funny. That would be the funniest thing. That would actually be very funny. A guy coming up to the podium with big teeth and big glasses, big buck teeth and glasses, said, I don't like the negative portrayal. Meanwhile, this guy's fitting the stereotype. But, you know, that was the Jerry Lewis days. Back in the day, Jerry Lewis would always put on the buck teeth and the big glasses, and bango, he's Chinese somehow. Somehow that's always the way it is. But yeah, there was a while there where everybody was apologizing to Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. They were cowering, you know, at the thought of a boycott, and nobody owned up to the comments. And it really bothered me. I mean, there was a lot. There was a lot of boycotts. And then at the end, you know, Don Imus did his thing with the nappy-headed hoe comment, and oh my God, the uproar on that. You know, listen, was it a nice thing to say? No, it's not a nice thing to say, but a lot of comedy's not nice. Was it funny? I don't laugh at any of Imus's stuff, so I don't think it's hard for me to judge. Like, all right, Dave, so forget about the fact that you're not a big fan of Don Imus. Was it funny? I didn't laugh. I hear a lot of comedians. Does Jerry Seinfeld say things and I laugh at everything? No, I don't laugh at everything. But should he have said nappy-headed hoes? Listen, you're allowed. By the way, he was hired to raise controversy. He's hired to get ratings. He's not hired to be politically correct. That's what changed. What changed was all these guys were hired to do something, and then somehow, over the course of time, partially due in part to white people in power Apologizing, I don't know if there was a time where the person wasn't white, whether it be, I don't recall Denzel Washington apologizing or Damon Wayans apologizing. It could be, there could be moments, but I don't know about it. So I don't want to say that it's never happened. I just don't know that it's ever happened. But it's usually some white person, an actor, an actress, a news anchor, somebody says something and then off the cuff, or sometimes it's prepared, and then next thing you know they're apologizing to a certain movement or Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton because they call for a boycott of all the news anchors or the talk show hosts, sponsors, and then McDonald's pulls out, or Lincoln Mercury, the car, or Ford, and it's just all this posturing and posing and all this stuff, and I'm always bothered by that because I know these people said it and they meant it. I can't imagine all these people go out there and say, all these college educated, well trained, well groomed, professional entertainers or whatever, are they really incapable of speaking their mind and not apologize? Are they really also dopey that they all just blurt out these crazy things and they go, oh, I didn't mean to say that? Really? You're all that careless? I find that hard to believe. I think it's just pressure. And I got to tell you, I got 225 now. It's going to be 226 episodes. I don't think I'm ever going to apologize for anything. I know I'm not. It's words sent through digital media, goes out into the ethersphere or whatever you want to call it. I'm not directing anything towards anybody. I'm definitely not directing any hate towards anybody. So there's no reason for me to apologize. And do I think about the things I'm going to say before I say them? Sometimes I do think a lot, and sometimes I think very little. Sometimes it's like a millisecond. And by the way, 99% of the time, not to brag, because it's not a brag. It's just, like a made-up fact. Ready? Here's a made-up fact. 99% of the time, I don't think about what I'm going to say, and I just say it, and it turns out not so bad. It just feels right. And sometimes, like in the case of what's his name, Kramer, when he did that crazy rant at that comedy club, it didn't work out too good for him. People didn't find it funny. But then again, the recording that you see is a cell phone recording. So, is the sound on a cell phone really that good? You heard the people at the table. Remember that Kramer recording? Where the people at the table like that, right? They went, and that's all you heard. Well, hey, I'm in a car right now. Do you hear the motorcycle going by me? Do you hear the truck going by me? Do you hear the airplane flying over my head? Well, because there is no airplane flying over my head. A motorcycle didn't pass me. But in the past, there's been different vehicles that passed me. With the windows closed and the air conditioning on, you wouldn't have heard it. Not all the time. You don't hear all these things. Everything's closed. The window's closed. I got the air conditioning on. A little bit low. I don't want it too loud so you can hear it. And I'm on my Apple earbuds or whatever you call these things. You're not always going to hear all the sound. So people might have been laughing when Kramer was on stage. I don't really know. But I'm really tired of the apologizing. I'm tired of everybody apologizing. Enough already. Say something, own it. Own it and stand up for it and say, hey, you know what? I did say that. And you know what? I said it. There you go. Am I going to apologize for it? No, I said it. Do I feel bad that it makes you feel bad? Okay, I have empathy. So, yeah, it makes me feel bad that you feel bad. I'm sorry that you feel bad. I'm sorry that you're offended, but I'm not sorry I said it. I mean, that's kind of an apology. That's enough. That's apology enough. You shouldn't have to apologize and backpedal. You shouldn't have to. But, they put pressure on you. They make it seem like they're going to close you. They're going to shut down your world. It's one of the reasons why I like doing Dumbing It Down with Dave. I own it, and I have nothing to lose. I don't have, and if I ever did take on a sponsor, you know what? There'd be something to talk about. Hey, and listen, by the way, none of my shows, I think at this point, maybe you won, but none of my shows have an explicit rating. You know what? Because I don't use vulgarity. But I do put out a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas. So one of these days, I'm going to put out a thought. I have 225 episodes of thoughts and ideas nobody seems to be upset about. But one of these days, I'm probably going to say something. I might say the N-word. I might say the C-word. I might, which, by the way, I had an interview with somebody in the UK a couple of months ago, and to them, the C-word, right? The C-word is a term of endearment of some sort. And he was like, yeah, in this country we say it all the time. All the time. So, I don't know if they say it on TV, but they say it out to each other, I guess. They say it on podcasts, because this guy was saying it on his podcast over and over again. I think so. I don't remember, but I know they use it. Okay, so Donald Trump is now that I'm done with all the mom stuff, that we have to pick up on this. Trump and Biden. It's going to be big news. Can I talk about the big virus? Not really, because if I mention it... Oh, so let me finish off with that. Because I mentioned in the last episode that, they'll deplatform you, whatever, if they catch... You can't put it in the title, the C word, Orona, whatever. You can't... I don't even know what the rules are, but supposedly YouTube or Spotify, whoever, Apple, they're going to take down your podcast if you do a show with that in the title. All right, so I'm not going to put Corona in the title. There you go. I can say it. I just can't put it in the title. And I can't talk about it in such a way where I guess I seem to be the authority or something. I'm not really clear. I didn't really go read the thing that they put out, the press release about them deleting shows or whatever it is, deplatforming anybody for talking about it. They're just concerned about false information. So I want to ask you this. I want to ask YouTube or Google or whoever's listening, I want to ask you this. If we can't do stuff about Corona and title it without the fear of you taking it down, because you take it down because of fear of misinformation and whatever. I mean, by the way, who is the authority? Who is the authority? Is Dr. Fauci, is he the only one that's allowed to do a podcast or talk about it or write about it on the internet? He's the only one, and the other one, Burns, the woman with the scarves. So if we can't talk about this thing, the virus, are we allowed to put out disinformation about, I don't know, pedophilia, child slaving, that's going on all across the world? How about arson? Can we put out fake news about arson? How about opioids? Can we do fake stories about opioids or misinform? Are we allowed to misinform everybody about everything else that's kind of important? Child trafficking. That's what I wanted to say. Child trafficking. So we can't talk about the C word, about, the virus C word, Corona. We can't put ourselves out as an authority on that, or we can't even tell a simple story. I couldn't do a simple story about my mom or the nursing home or about my friend I want to pay tribute to. I can't do that because it's not factual according to who's ever in charge, who's ever behind the curtain, right? To them, they deem it not reliable. Boom, deleted. Boom, deplatformed or whatever it is that they're doing. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're doing something. But I could talk about all these other things, child slavery, right? Child trafficking. I could talk about arson. I could talk about the economy. I could talk about UFOs and aliens. I could talk about the economy. I could talk about the U.S. government. I could talk about natural disasters. 9/11. All right, Building 7. Did I say 9/11? 9/11. I could talk about that. I'm allowed to misinform you about everything else that's in the world. I can't misinform you about Corona. I find that to be really an interesting choice. That is what it is. This is the new age that we live in. The rules that are put out, I have to abide by these rules. And I think it's really great. You have to think about it, America. You have to really think about that. Like, wow. So they stop you from talking about this virus. They don't want you posting about it. They don't want you talking about it. But all these other things you don't know about, feel free to continue talking about those. Please continue to misinform us about the things that are most important. Oh, yeah. How about all that germs and all that junk that's in your dinner? It's in your food. Can I misinform you about that? Well, everything is bad for you. Stop eating it. I hope that I dumped it down for you pretty good. Tune in next week. Tune in next episode. Hope you enjoyed it. You want some more cowbell? I'll give it to you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, Godspeed, and great skills. Take care. See you later, guys. Thanks. Bye.